He's one of those guys that's more passion driven than money driven. So
Yeah.
he's always going to be have it inside him to make that comeback. It's just a matter of how long is his body going to be able to hang with the attitude, you know.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Inside SKoop with my guy, my friend. He is the referee of referees. He is the zebra man himself, but don't call him NWO rogue. He is he is the one and only Nick Patrick. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Speaking of NWO Rogue, I still got that old original ski mask that the
Do you?
yeah, I remember the NWO ref that was in there with Hall and Nash for a little while. I still got that old ski mask somewhere.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, like before we get to the topic for this particular time, that I always found that really, really interesting. You always talked about how you before you got into referee, you wanted to start wrestling. You wanted to wrestling was your thing, and the NWO stint kind of gave you an opportunity to do that for a time or so.
Yeah, that was a blast. I had a lot of fun doing that. It was. It let me get some a chance to showcase some of the things that I could actually do other than just referee. I could promo and I could take bumps. Because I worked for a couple of years and I blew my knee. I was actually a wrestler for I started off as a ref and I wrestled for 2 years and I blew my knee out real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was out of the business completely for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say completely out of the ring part. We opened up Deep South during that point in time.
Yeah.
But, as far as me working for a big company and making a living, it was about 2 years with that knee surgery I had.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you had an opportunity there, and you went on and just kind of rode that wave and enjoyed every bit of it. Unfortunately, WWE was able to yank WCW and all of its rights and libraries and things like that in 2001. And then shortly after, you went to the WWE and became a ref there. How long did you stay a ref for WWE?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, for WWE, I was from 2000. When they took over at 2000, and I finished up in November 2009.
Wow. Amazing stuff. So during that time, you were able to see some matches and be a part of some matches of someone who made his debut at Revolution. There was someone who was going to he was Big Show. We talked about Big Show before, and Big Show said there's a Hall of Fame worthy announcement as far as someone who's going to debut Revolution. And who was that person? The countdown comes, and it's Christian Cage. And so very interesting stuff. What are your thoughts before we get into some inside scoop as far as Christian Cage being the AEW?
I think it's great for them and great for him too. He's one of the guys that always seems to land on his feet. And it's because of his work ethic. He's when I met him, he was one of the guys that learned how to blend new school, more active, less down stuff at more spots, but still be able to tell stories with it. Sell it at the proper time to where it doesn't just look like a choreographed tumbling act.
Yeah.
He was able to do that really well, and he had great personality, and he was a lot of fun to work with. Very, very professional.
Yeah. He's from the Edge and Christian team. For some reason, I've always been a fan of Christian. There's a part of me as a fan that always wanted Christian to like pull through. I was just rooting for him and just wanted him to, make it through and pull through. And I remember when he won the world title, and that was a big deal for me because I was a big fan. Edge at that time was already established as a world champion. He had some reigns and things like that. Yeah. Christian was still kind of getting his bearings. And I remember the time that he won the title, actually right after Edge retired at WrestleMania because of his injury. And then the pay-per-view afterwards, I believe he beats Alberto Del Rio. to become a world champion. And so I was a big fan of that. Wasn't a big fan of just how he was booked, really short reigns, and then he was heel and feud with Orton, and just I wasn't a big fan of that. But I did pull for him and was happy that he won the title.
Yeah, you did. Does that sound more like you wasn't a fan of the storyline? Because sometimes it's hard to bite into the character if you don't really like the storyline.
Yeah,
it's hard to not bite into his work because he was a very
he was very, very hard worker. That's why I said I always enjoyed him in the ring. I've always been a Christian guy. I've always wanted him to stay on the top. You know,
well, that's what he always turns up with all the different companies. You know, if he slowed down, he went to TNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's one of the guys, and there's always a small group of guys, and I don't know how they do it or how it all works, because there's a no compete clause for a lot of guys.
Yeah,
but there's a group of guys, like him and Booker T and a couple other guys that that you can see them working at WWE, and then just a couple of weeks later they could be at a different company. Mm-hmm. And still be able to transfer back and forth between those companies. Booker T both went to TNA. They both come back, and now the new company they're with, and he's always able to go somewhere and contribute still have that door, and without closing that door. He's very good at making that transition without burning bridges, which is kind of hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, it seems like this time was just more of a, he still knew he can go. I saw like a before and after picture of like some months ago. He was kind of having the dad bod, for a little bit. And then he made a transition and got a trainer and just, he looks really, really good nowadays. And so, he looks good. He looks like he's in really good shape. Christian's always kept himself in pretty good shape.
I've never really seen him out of shape. I've seen him in better shape than other times, but a lot of times when that happens is you're nursing an injury or something, and it's not bad enough to keep you down, but it's bad enough where you can't hit it a full stride with your training and everything else.
Yeah, he's been dealing with some concussions for a number of years now, and I know that was one of the reasons why he stopped wrestling in the WWE. And I know that WWE has a pretty tight concussion protocol, which is why Daniel Bryan had to go through the ringer so much with coming back. It seemed like Christian, they were having some same things with him as far as having him come back. I know he had that Randy Orton thing, last year where he just got punt, just once, and they just didn't want him in the big spot. He came back in the Royal Rumble. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, and a lot of that come too from all the crazy stuff. They were when all the stuff with the Hardy Boys. You can't take those kind of bumps and have that. They revolutionized. They took that particular style and really captured that. The table ladders and chairs and all that. I think they probably took it as far as you can go with it. And there's no way to do all that stuff without tearing your body up. And when you land, you're going to hit your head. It's just a matter of how hard.
That's right.
And you learn how to fall. There's no way to do it from the height that they fall, coming off those ladders. Do it without getting hurt. So I'm sure he had a lot of concussion.
Yeah. So WWE had a pretty tight protocol on that, which rightfully so, with all the CTE and all the the lawsuits and things like that. It makes perfect sense of why they do. But it makes sense that I'd imagine now he's went through all that he needed to go through medically to be cleared, and the doctors had to approve him to come back. So it looks like he came back to the Royal Rumble, so clearly he's cleared to wrestle again. What it seems like, he's 47, I believe, or around that, and it seems like he wants just kind of like one more run. He has like kind of that itch to get back in the ring full time, and it seems like WWE is not willing to give him that opportunity.
He's one of those guys that's more passion driven than money driven. So he's always going to have it inside him to make that comeback. It's just a matter of how long is his body going to be able to hang with the attitude. My mind a lot of times tells me I can do this, I can do that, but my body's like, no way.
Yeah, that's right.
Calm down, old fella.
Right.